evening with you all. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about the media, the medievalness of the media. Our guest speaker, Ifagaboyede, Sister Faola, will be our facilitator today, and she will give you a great deal of information about the medieval of the media and mind control. She would like to start her lecture off, since she's been traveling all last night. She would like to start the lecture off with a film. And then after the film, she will be present for questions and answers. And she would like to have you extrapolate your questions and answers from the film, from the things that you have seen, and things that you may just feel or know. So is that suited for everyone? Everyone feel fine with that format? Okay then, so without any further delay on my behalf, we would like to now start the film.
Great round of applause. Sure, I will do it for you.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, and thank you for coming out tonight. I'm sure that the information that I'm about to share with you will enhance your knowledge of what is happening with our people. Because as you all know, we are in a great deal of trouble today. A great deal of trouble. So I would like to thank Brother Sam Matthews for giving me this opportunity to share this information with you. The information I'm about to share with you is indeed kind of difficult to even share. It's so astonishing that it frightens people. And indeed, we do have something to be frightened about. We are 3/4, in my estimation, 3/4 of the way into genocide. I would truly say that 3/4 of our people are deaf, dumb, and blind. And if we don't wake up real soon, we can just almost hang it up. So this is very crucial, the information you're about to receive tonight. And again, thank you for coming so that I can share it with you. I am going to begin my topic with a brief discussion on the media. It's the historical name of the media. Actually, the word media, it's a Greek word. You might have heard of Medea, the Greek goddess. She was indeed a very evil goddess. If you know the story of Jason and the Argonauts, and the Golden Fleece, you will know that it was Medea who helped Jason get the Golden Fleece. After the Golden Fleece was obtained, Medea and Jason, they were together for a while as man and woman, and she bore children for him. But he jilted her, and he took on another woman. Well, this angered Medea, and she made a crown and a garment, a coat, that she sent to her rival. And of course, this killed her. Not only did it kill the rival woman, but also her father. She also killed all of the children that she had by Jason. This Medea was a witch of very high powers. And don't let that term witch frighten you. A lot of my information tonight will deal with witchcraft. And I guess I should sort of bombard you at this moment in saying that Europeans practice witchcraft. And as we proceed with the lecture tonight, we will discuss on how they use it on us. And I dare say that a lot of the problem that we are having today stems directly from European witchcraft. At any rate, Medea was a witch of very, very great magical skills. And it is said that she was able to even rejuvenate a dead person by draining the blood out of this person and then replacing it with magical herbs. That is basically the origin of the word media. Now, the whole idea of the media, it has an objective. And I want to first give you the original objective of the media. The media is always out to get you. It has a purpose, and the purpose is to ensnare one. Exactly as the Greek goddess, she was able to get Jason's rival. She was able to make this crown and this coat, and by sending it to her through mind or whatever, was able to kill this person. So the media is about killing, to be perfectly honest. That's how dangerous that it is. It's about killing. And the objective of the media, the current media, the media that we know today, it is about murdering us. Now, at the outset of the media, back in the medieval time period, and that whole terminology or that word, medieval, we have to look at that word. It is pronounced, medieval, but it is spelled media evil, M-E-D-I-A-E-V-A-L, media. Again, we have that media evil. It basically it started blossoming during the medieval time period. So we're going quite a distance back to really about the 9th century is where we'll start discussing the media from what I guess where it would be really important to us. Originally, the media was used to get food. Say, now how in the world could the media be used to capture or get food? Well, the media has to do with imitation. Actors, actresses, the people on the television, it's all about imitating something. So way back when, and this of course originally began in Africa, everything that the Europeans have done, they have taken from us, from the African people. They would dress themselves in animal skins and then imitate that animal in the hopes that they would draw that animal close to them, close enough so they could shoot them, hunt them down. That's the origin of the media. It was originally, the purpose was originally to capture something. And today's purpose is of the same. Its purpose today is to capture us. We are the target audience, or the target. Instead of a deer, dressing up like a deer in a deer's skin, the Europeans dressed up like black people. You're all aware of the minstrelsy era when white people dressed up like black people and imitated them very negatively. Of course, that was to have us behave in the same way, very negatively, to capture us. And I'm going to be sharing with you some illustrations of this. And the first one I'm going to share with you, and I'll be bringing this back out as I progress with my lecture. The first illustration that I will share with you is perhaps a very shocking one. And I'm kind of skipping around just a little bit, but we'll continuously go back to this illustration. This particular illustration is a European woman in blackface. Now, the woman that we see pictured here is King James's wife, the very same person who wrote the Bible. King James Version of the Bible, well, this is his wife in blackface. This is Queen Anne. Now, I don't know if this might surprise some of you. It did for me when I first ran across this illustration in a theater book. And we have to look at that word, theater and theology. Another hookup that we have with the media is that theater and religion, they're one and the same, okay? So, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm putting some things out, and it'll all tie up as I go through my lecture or my presentation with you. But the aim of this particular woman, she's blacked up. She's acting in a play called The Mask of Blackness. And it's a production, it was produced in 1604 for the court of King James. And it's called The Mask of Blackness, and it's about black women hating themselves, hating their skin color, and wanting to become white. So here we have the objective, I guess, instead of food, that's what we want captured, we want here captured the black woman's what? Her mind. Now we have to understand that Europeans are very adept in witchcraft. They're very adept in magic. And they do it all the time around us, every single solitary day. In order to bring this home to you somewhat more clearly, exactly how the media controls us and how the target audience of this controlled media is us, we're going to stay back in that time period that so often the Europeans would turn us, we wouldn't want to read or study about the medieval time period. I used to say when I was a youngster, oh, I don't want to hear about those white people, or what the medieval time period, that's just about the Dark Ages. Or nothing went on. We were told in school, well, nothing went on in that time period. But I beg to differ with you. A whole lot went on during that time period. And it was during that time period that the whole idea of magic and the media was really, really developed. For instance, there is a supposition which deals with the whole idea of homeopathic or sympathetic magic. And that supposition is like produces like. If I dress up and act in a certain way, of course they do rituals, they have bloodlettings, they murder children, they do human sacrifice, they do all kinds of things. And believe it or not, these things do work. All people do magic. The African people, if you know anything at all of your culture, anything at all of African, you know that the African people did do magic. However, the magic that African people basically did was to heal, was to have babies, was to promote crops. The European witchcraft is very, very negative and very, very evil. This is what begot this. See, like produces like. This play, The Mask of Blackness, it was produced in 1604, and it was written by an English playwright, Ben Jonson. I was never so surprised when I read this particular play that the black woman was so openly lusting after the white man. Now this is in 1604, produced for the court of King James, the Bible man. And one very interesting aspect of this particular illustration is the black woman right here. I don't know if you probably don't know very much about the symbols of witchcraft. I have been studying it because I found that it was something that our people needed to know. And when I say witchcraft, I'm speaking of European witchcraft. The way her hand is even held, that's a sign of the devil. This is a sign of the devil. And see, Europeans believe that we are the devil.
That's right.
And it's very, very subtle. But regardless of how subtle it is, it works. Because now we're all running around acting like little what?
That's right.
Little devils. Killing each other, molesting children, or having orgies. In fact, I read in the newspaper last week it was, where there was 200 men in a party with 16 young women. I mean, acting like devils. So you see that this media works. See, the Europeans they black up in secret all the time. Ronald Reagan, why do you think they like the actor or stars? So they are so highly paid. These people do ritual behind closed doors, doors that we would never open, that we know nothing about. Okay, if we take this back to the medieval time period, we'll run into a type of drama called the mask drama. That's spelled M-A-S-Q-U-E. And this particular drama was done by the kings, by the palace, the courtiers. It was not done by the common people. Only your queens and kings performed in this particular kind of drama. In fact, I'll read to you a brief excerpt from a book that I have titled Othello's Countrymen. The practice of blackening was transformed to the more sophisticated court disguisings of the 16th century. See, many people believe, or under the opinion, I should say, that this blacking up is something relatively new, that it only happened here in America during the last century. Untrue. This has been going on for thousands of years, this blackening up, and imitating black people in a negative fashion. And of course, this is all a part of the media. And we think about that term, the word media, and about the goddess who killed. It's all about killing. But it's done very, very subtly. The practice of blackening was transferred to the more sophisticated court disguisings of the 16th century. In the earliest surviving description of a courtly festivity which involved blackening, the term Egyptian, Morescos, and Black Moors appear. In this mask-like performance in 1510, Henry VIII, does that surprise you? Henry VIII and the Earl of Essex had come in apparelled after Turkey fashion. When we say Turkey fashion, of course, they're talking of black people who were called turkeys in that day and age. In fact, that's why they have the roasting of the turkey every Thanksgiving and Christmas, okay? Because this is another name for the African people, turkeys. And you know, the turkey is a very stupid bird, okay, a very stupid bird. And the turkey symbolizes African people. Every time you eat your turkey on Christmas and Thanksgiving, you are partaking of this, okay? At any rate, in this mask-like performance in 1510, Henry VIII and the Earl of Essex had come in apparelled after Turkey fashion, while the torch bearers were apparelled in crimson satin and green satin. Morescos, their faces black. So this was a very, very, very common practice among the palace, all of them black up. In fact, I have here another illustration that will bring this point home even closer to you. Here we have a white person in blackface on his knees begging. Like produces like. And of course we see the entertainment behind you. Again, the media. We have a black, this is so that the black man will always have his what out? His hand out, begging. See, this is what you call sympathetic magic. When you imitate something, and you're doing it for a purpose. Okay, I could pass these around if you'd like. You could pass them around when I speak. That one. Here I have a brief excerpt I would like to read to you about sympathetic magic. Sympathetic magic assumes that things act on each other at a distance through a secret sympathy, the impulse being transmitted from one to the other by means of what we may conceive as a kind of invisible ether, not unlike that which is postulated by modern science for a precisely similar purpose, namely to explain how things can physically affect each other through a space which appears to be empty. So that's basically the origin, the origin of the term media. It comes from the Greek goddess. The reason is to capture or to ensnare. And here we're discussing how they went about doing this. Let me just point this out. I have here, this is a picture of Queen Elizabeth. She too blacked up. Nancy Reagan, Ronald Reagan, they all black up in secret. And they do these rituals. In fact, I dare say that they black up their faces, maybe some wearing red, some wearing blue, and they do rituals in order to get these things out into the universe. And hence we have black people now who always loved red. I knew when I was a child we would put on the red. That was time to party. But now in my neighborhood where I live, I never see red anymore because people are afraid to wear red. Now, I have to ask myself, why? What happened?
Good question.
What happened to our minds so that now if we see our brother or sister in a red jacket, we're liable to go home and get a gun and say, okay, I'm going to kill him? Could it be because people have blacked up secretly and put this out into the universe, and they have acted all of these things out? See, we're dealing again with acting, which is why I would say actors are paid such high, enormous, sums of money because of what they do, not openly, but what they do secretly. This, perhaps, is one of the greatest actresses of all. This is Elizabeth I. And remember, we have Elizabeth II in office right now. But I wanted to point out to you what she is wearing. She is wearing an orange coat, and this coat is covered with eyes and ears. We're dealing with symbolism. We're dealing with imitation now. It's covered with, here in fact, you can see one of the eyes and one of the ears. This is what the devil is symbolized. When you see a picture, if they ever show you any of the European pictures of what the devil is, what a symbol for the devil, they would show you this eye and this ear. This is the same eye, ladies and gentlemen, that you see over the dollar bill, on the dollar bill, over the pyramid. And the idea behind this is that the eye of Europe will always be over Africa, so that they will always know what we are doing and how we. That's why you see on the dollar bill around Egypt, around that pyramid, it says Ardus Nuevus Seclorum, our new secret order. Our new secret order. This is the eye. It is not the all-seeing Egyptian eye. No. This is the eye, the exact eye that you see that she's wearing. You see, she is a witch. She's in her witch garb. And this is, seldom do you see this picture right here. And I'm going to pass this around so you can take a look at it as well. And on the, they have enlarged the sleeve of her garment with, so you can really see it. Anyway, you can pass these around, this one around as well. Okay, it's so much to this. I want to really stick with my subject, so I'm not going to go into a lot of what I could go into. Hopefully you will understand that everything, all of the holidays, the Christmas, all of this that we do, whenever we even say Merry Christmas, believe it or not, we are dealing with something that is diabolically opposed to us, that is very bad for us, and we're giving something power that has nothing to do with us, something very evil. In fact, it's all about our demise. And to point out to you that this entire thing, it exists right now today. This whole idea of witchcraft and the media, holidays, it's all connected up. I would like to just point out to you something that I found in the LA Times, and the title of it was "Price of True Love Falls Slightly for 88 Christmas." And perhaps if you were to see this in the LA Times, you wouldn't really pay it any attention. You'd say prices of true love falls for 88 Christmas. What are they talking about? But I'm going to point out to you that this stuff is really real. And they talk about it all the time in your daily newspaper. It says, buying your true love, the gifts in the 12 days of Christmas. You've all heard of the 12 days of Christmas. First day of Christmas, my true love came to me, and they gave a pear and whatever else. But there are 12 days. These 12 days are very, very real for European people. And it's the time when they are doing strong witchcraft against black people. Against black people. It says, buying your true love, the gifts in the 12 days of Christmas, will cost you more than a song, but less than last year. The 12 days of Christmas would cost $18,768, down 1 point, said Robert Christian, Director of Economic and Fixed Income Research at Provident National Bank. If you were to buy or hire each item every day it is mentioned in the popular Christmas carol, you'd spend a total of $9,087. Now this is we're talking about the 12 days of Christmas. We're talking about a lot of money here, if you understand what I'm saying. And the average black person, they say the 12 days of Christmas, oh, that's just a Christmas carol. That isn't really, but that is not so. It's a high ritual day for the European people. This may be due to a decrease in the price of 5 gold rings which are down $125 or 20% from a high of $750 in 1987, Christian said. People just aren't buying them in groups of 5 anymore. These days, usually one ring will suffice. This is the 4th year Christian has compiled his CPL, or Christmas Price Index. He consults zoos, importers, and the entertainment industry for figures. Here are the 1988 prices. A partridge and a pear tree would cost you $39.95. That's for the first day of Christmas. 2 turtle doves would cost $50. 3 French hens would cost $15. 4 calling birds would cost $280. 5 gold rings would cost $625. 6 geese a laying would cost $150. 7 swans would cost $7,000. 8 maids a milking would cost $26.80. 9 ladies dancing would cost $1,800. As you can, I won't go on and read it, but you can look at this information and read it for yourself. As you can see, Christmas for the European it's not a plaything with them. They're doing very serious, high ritual, and they really don't expect for any of us to look in the newspaper and be able to understand that they're speaking in coded language right here. Perhaps one of the greatest media personalities would be King James. I don't know how many of you have seen a picture of this particular person, but I have here a picture. How many of you have seen a picture of King James? Most of us go around with our Bibles in our hand, and we go to church. We protect them. We think but this is a picture of the man who wrote the King James Version of the Bible, or at least he's given the credit for writing it. He was a supreme slave master, King James. In fact, it was King James who threw slavery into high gear. In fact, it was the slaves were brought to Jamestown. They named in 1619, they named the place where they brought the first slaves after King James, the Bible man. Okay, so we have to start really looking at these things. Of course, King James dealt very, very highly in witchcraft. Most of us are familiar with his book, the Bible, but how many are you familiar with his other book? Is there anybody in here familiar with his other book? He also wrote a book on witchcraft. And this is a library book, so I didn't write it or anything, but you can send the pictures back up here, because I need to keep them together. Thank you. Oh, okay, send them around this way. This is a picture, this is a copy of King James's book on witchcraft. Does that shock anybody in here? Doesn't shock you at all, does it? No, not real black people. It wouldn't shock, no, or Africans. It wouldn't. But in his book, he deals with the whole art. In this particular book on witchcraft, he deals with the art of imitation. See, the media is all about imitation. The name of this particular book is King James I, Demonology. Demonology. And in this book, he explains the Bible. And exactly what we think the Bible is all about, that's exactly the opposite. And so our people are very much so under a spell at this particular point. We're under a spell. And that's the reason why we can almost say if we don't wake up and we don't get this information out to our people, we will go under. But of course, we're getting the information out, so we won't fear that. But so many of us will be lost along the way. Again, to go back into the media and the target audience, this is a book titled Blacking Up. And on the front cover, you will see white men. And then you will see the same white men in blackface. And of course, they're constantly moving. They can't, everything is negative about them. They have big lips and bulging eyes and etc. This is because they want us to act how? Negative. Like produces like. That is the target of the media. As it was then, so it is today, so it is now. I have a few other illustrations. Thank you. This particular illustration never ceases to amaze me. On this particular illustration, we have here a religious person, a pope, or some kind of cardinal or bishop or whatever. He is giving the actor a head. And of course the head is, you would say it's of course a black man. Because see, Europeans believe that we are the devil. They believe that the black man, black woman, black child is indeed the devil. And that when we are wiped off the face of this earth, that is when the second coming will be. That is when glory will take place. Okay, this is a fact. I mean, you might not want to hear it, and you say, oh gosh, you mean the white lady on my job, she really thinks? Yes. They believe that we are the devil, and that's where the psychosis comes in, that the white people, the hatred that they have for us. This right here, this particular illustration, we have here a bishop, and he is giving an actor the head to put on of a black man. Of course, you see the bulging eyes and the big lips and the horns. And then I have another illustration. Now, this is back in the 16th century. This is in the 18th century, and you can basically see that same head right here. And of course, these are white people dressed up like black people. Again, we're dealing with the media, and its target is, of course, us. You can pass this around, too. I would like to introduce you to Thomas Daddy Rice. Again, we have here a white actor in blackface. And this is in America in the 18th century, the 19th century, and of course this is in England at King James. It's all the same thing. This has been going on a long, long time. I hear some of our new filmmakers, they discuss the whole idea of minstrelsy, and most of them are under the impression that this is something, a new phenomenon, that it's something that just was done in the last century. This is very untrue. This has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. In fact, they put on so many plays about the black woman during the reign of King James, about what a slut, how lustful she was. This one, they put on thousands. If you go into the library, see, the arts unlock all secrets. The arts unlock all secrets. If you go into your libraries and read some of the old English plays, you will discover that the black woman was always treated as a slut. She was the bawdy, Moorish woman. And she was the bawd to the whole entire world. In fact, a very commonplace scenario of the English drama went this way as far as the black woman goes. And now, what do you have the black woman acting like? What does she... Remember, we're talking about like producing like. Now, one very common scenario, this is very common in a lot of the old English plays, where the white master would come up to his black slave and he would nudge her and say, ooh, he would always, of course, be talking about a white woman. Isn't she beautiful? I sure want to talk to her. You know, why don't you go over there and tell her how much I like her and how beautiful I think she is? Well, the whole idea would be, well, the white woman was too good to even be approached by a man. I mean, she was put on such a pedestal. So we have the black woman who goes over and tells the white woman that the master really likes you and would like to talk to you. And once the black woman gets the white man and the white woman together, in the plays, they would always show the black woman sliding up to the white man for her reward. In some of the plays, she is offered money, but she doesn't take the money. Guess what she wants?
Don't tell us.
She doesn't want the money as she wants him. Now, this is very, very common. And remember now, during this time period, the African woman was over where? In Africa. But they put on hundreds of plays with this scenario. See, this whole idea of the black woman being a common whore has been promulgated through the centuries, and it was propagated through the theater. Can you just hold? It was propagated through the theater. I wanted to introduce you to Jim Crow. How many of you know who Jim Crow is? Jim Crow, of course, was a white man who dressed up like a black man, and he did a funny dance called Jumpin' Jim Crow. And it was all, you see him in rags, very negative, happy-go-lucky, you know. He would get on the stage, and this is what he would do, these little jigs, and he was very, very famous. He went throughout Europe performing this imitation of a black man. He went throughout the United States. He performed for the president of this country. I mean, it was just a common thing. His name was Daddy Thomas Rice. And he performed in blackface. This is how he performed, imitating the black man very negatively. And so now, what do we have downtown? All along the streets, sleeping in cardboard boxes. We have what? The black what? The black raggedy man. Like produces what? Like. The media is very, very powerful. This is why we can't afford to fool around with it. I myself did not like Spike Lee's movie, She's Gotta Have It. I myself thought it was terrible it was the whole, see, and it's always better if you can get the victim to help you. If you can get the victim to go along with your diabolical plan, then it is even more powerful. Why do you think Spike Lee has been elevated to the position that he is in? Who else is going to put out a movie? You think a Japanese, the director would put about a Japanese woman, she's got to have it? And she's just going to go with any old body? I mean, this is the whole idea of the what? The bitch. And then we can take this all the way back to the days of King James and before and beyond, when the black woman was shown on the English stage as nothing but a whore in blackface. And of course, we have to deal with the ritual that was done. I mean, this particular book that we find King James's picture in, the title of the book is called Witchcraft. Now, what would a nice Bible fellow's picture be in a book like this on witchcraft? The book is by, I forget his name. I'll tell you afterwards. However, it has some really, really delightful illustrations in it. And of course, one of my favorites, or one that where you can actually see that when I say witchcraft, it's not a joke. White people do witchcraft, and that's their culture. And we live in a culture of witchcraft. And we don't understand it because we have been taught not to. Here we have right here, witches offer a child to the devil, more susceptible to disease and irrational fears than adults, and less sensitive to the pain that accusations could cause. Children were often the victims of witches. So we have here, now these are not black people on this picture. These are Europeans, and they are doing their sacrificing children. Bear with me. There's one particular one. Oh yes, this particular one, you will see a nun kneeling, and you will see, but they're kneeling at the behind of a goat. Of a goat. And I'll pass this one around so you can see it too. When I say that Europeans indulge in witchcraft, all of them, the guy next door, the one you sit next to on your job, your teacher, all of them, European, this is their culture. This is their culture. And they project all of this evilness through the media. Why do you think they have a program like Living Color on the television? Why do you think that's on the television? Think of the power that has, and the like produces like. In fact, there was one episode, I mean, I just really couldn't believe it. It was called Go On Girl or something like that, and it was about two black women arguing over a black man. Well, about 3 or 4 days later, I was reading the newspaper, and in this newspaper article, a little girl had gotten shot. She had gotten hit by a stray bullet because it was two black women who were fighting, and one went home and got a gun and was going to shoot the other one over a man, and a child got shot. So when I say that it's the media, it brings all of this to us, all of these negative things. So you have to be very careful of what you allow your children to see on the media. You yourself have to be very careful of how you use the media. See, most of our people have no idea of how the media should and is used, because it is very, very dangerous. It is extremely dangerous. The whole idea of like producing like is real. And see, I didn't make that up. This particular book right here, The Court Mask, it's by an English fellow. See, I got the whole idea of the mask drama and all of that from their books. I didn't make any of this up. I wouldn't know how to make it up. It's really real. They deal with the whole idea of like produces like, and how all of this is done through the media. And you can go to the library, if you know what to look for The Court Mask. Right here we're dealing with royalty and how they use the media. I have here one other book that I would like to just briefly introduce you to. It's called Anti-Blackness in English Religion, 1500 through 1800. And I would like to read just a short bit to you from this book about how dangerous the media can be. Hold on. I marked out here. One second here. I have the pages right here. So you're right. Thank you. Okay, here it is. In this particular excerpt from the book Anti-Blackness, we're dealing with this play that Queen Anne acted in for her husband in 1604. And we're dealing with, it's called, like I said, The Mask of Blackness. It asks the question, what purpose would be served by black salvation? In this play, the black women are saved. And the play that they are saved at the very end, and then they put on another drama called The Mask of Beauty. And in that particular drama, the black woman has lost her black skin color and is now white. And of course, she's now beautiful, okay? But it's asked the question, what purpose would be served by black salvation? Its own? No. Black salvation served others to make blacks the saviors of Englishmen, who look like death herself, since they are pale and blue, the fearful tincture of a poured gray. Blacks can never lose their faithful hue. In a word, Africans were to provide Englishmen with their genes, and through black genocide, add life to whites. Blacks could not become white, and whites would not become black, but Englishmen could rise from the dead. What is thinly veiled amidst the Othello kaleidoscope, the use of blacks for the dramatic English purposes, is unveiled by the avowedly Christian humanist and scholarly Ben Jonson. So that just gives you a little bit more insight into this whole idea of the media and how white people use the media to tear us down but build themselves. They make us lose our genes. They make us lose our way. See, they don't want to see an African woman on a job with hair like mine because that's too close to black. They have to see this. We have to lose ourselves. And they do this through the media. I would like to answer any questions that you might have. I don't want to take up spiritual preparation for my initiation. I have not had a lot of interest in anything. I was asked to come here to give you a lecture this evening, but I choose to accept questions and answers and not lecture per se, and hopefully the video